Hello, this is Tony Heller from RealClimateScience.com. Climate academics and the press are shocked once again. An ice shelf the size of New York City has collapsed in East Antarctica, an area long thought to be stable and not hit much by climate change, concerned scientists said. The collapse, captured by satellite images, marked the first time in human history that the frigid region had an ice shelf collapse. Wow, it sounds like humans really messed up the climate once again. Let's take a look now and see if what they're saying is true. In 2014, a group of climate scientists led by Chris Turney got trapped in ice off of East Antarctica. What happened was ice broke off of an ice shelf in East Antarctica, floated out to sea, and the climate academics foolishly got too close to it. Many sailors had to risk their lives in order to rescue these foolish climate academics. Here's another story about last week's event from The Guardian. They said that East Antarctica reached a record temperature of minus 12 degrees Celsius. Peter Neff, a glaciologist at the University of Minnesota, described the minus 12 degrees Celsius as extreme heat. He apparently believes that temperatures of minus 12 degrees Celsius cause the ice to break up. But the reality is that this occurs all the time. Here's a story from 2019. Gigantic iceberg breaks off East Antarctica. And here's a story from CNN from 2009. Giant iceberg heading towards Australia. A massive iceberg more than twice the size of New York's Manhattan Island is drifting towards Australia. The iceberg cleaved off an ice shelf nearly 10 years ago. So this iceberg broke off of East Antarctica around the year 2000. And it was twice the size of Manhattan. And now the same thing has occurred, except it was only half the size as the one from 20 years ago. And academics in the press claim that it never happened before in human history. So climate academics in the press apparently believe that human history began 2, 8, or 20 years ago. And they also seem to believe that ice melts at minus 12 degrees Celsius. This is a fairly typical fake news climate story from academia and the press. They take a commonplace event, make up some fake statistics about it, and blame it on climate change. They disseminate this disinformation to the public. And most importantly, they never allow a second opinion from an honest scientist. The reality is that this is the normal behavior of glaciers. Snow builds up in the interior, turns into ice, which become glaciers that flow down to the sea. Then they become floating ice called ice shelves, and eventually they break off like what happened last week. These climate fraudsters are hoping that the public has a very short memory. Climate academics got lucky in 2014. They did not end up on the bottom of the sea like people on the Titanic did 100 years earlier. Toto has been pulling back the curtain on the climate scam for the past 14 years. You can visit him, Kyrie, and Caesar on the web at realclimatescience.com.